project as a requirement of the associated ADHE loan process. And would you like to give a presentation before we open public hearing?
The item that we're actually looking at here is a public hearing for what amounts to an amendment to an SRF loan, the State Revolving Fund loan that we already had. That was approved last fall, I believe. And at that time, the estimated cost of the loan that we approved at that time was $6.7 million. And this amendment was anticipated at that time to cost between $2.2 and $3.2 million. Just using kind of an average, the total of that was $9 million. So we now have figures, a little more exact figures for the cost. The project has been bid by the design build contractor, so that we have pretty good figures now. And basically, we're bringing it back to amend the loan to cover the portion that will be Gardner only for both surface area and cost. So essentially, that's what we're here tonight to for this item to look at.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak at this public hearing? That being the case, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion Morrow, second Freeman, that we close the public hearing. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. New business item number 2. Consider authorizing the city administrator to execute a loan agreement application for the state revolving fund loan for the Big Bull Creek wastewater treatment plant project. This will be resolution number 1889. Jim?
And this is the loan amendment that we're looking at, and we have some more exact figures on that. I'm not sure if we provided to you or not. But the original estimate was, as I said, $9 million for what this loan would comprise. And that was again based on $6.7 million for the original SRF loan, and then 2.2 to 3.2, total of $9 million. The actual figures that we're looking at now,
Do you want the?
no, I'm trying to find the actual amount of the loan that we were looking at with the final figures that we have is $2,751,000, as opposed to 2.2 or 3.2, so it is out in the middle there. The total of the previous loan plus this one, instead of coming up to an even $9 million, comes out at $9,584,000 plus $167,000 that's not covered by the loan that we have on our own, and we have those funds in the budget. So we actually have a $9.584 million rather than $9 million. The good news on that is that although it is almost $600,000 more than what was anticipated at that time, it was still within the range of what we thought it would be, but it's a little more than what we thought. The actual cost of the loan was less than we anticipated it to be, so that the actual payments that we will be making will not exceed the estimates that we had. So the estimated amounts that we were looking at did not change, and we have sufficient funds allocated for future budgets to take care of that. So that's pretty much what we're doing.
Questions? How would council like to proceed with resolution number 1889?
I move we approve resolution number 1889, authorizing the city administrator to execute the loan amendment application, or make an application for the loan amendment in the amount of $2,629,000.
Second?
Motion Morrow, second Gregorczyk, that we adopt resolution 1889. I do have a question. The motion was for $2,629,000, and I thought I heard Jim say $2,751,000. Is that,
Part of it is not allowable in the loan, so that's the difference.
okay, so the true amount is $2,629 for the loan. Okay, very good, thank you. Okay. Again, that was resolution 1889, the amount was $2,629,000. Morrow,
Yes.
Gregorczyk,
Yes?
Harrison, Freeman,
Yes.
Vodovich.
Yes.
1889 passes. New business item number 3, consider authorizing the city administrator to execute a form to cancel the contract between the Kansas Water Office and the city for the sale of raw water to Gardner. Yeah.
This will probably seem a little confusing, but it's pretty straightforward. In forming the Hillsdale Area Water Cooperative, that group has now contracted for all of the capacity in Hillsdale Lake. And as of 1st of January of this year, that contract is now in place. So our previous contract, which is the one we're talking about now, needs to be canceled so that it will roll the amount of water we have in that into the overall contract to make up the big capacity. Essentially, that's what we're doing.
Okay. Questions? How would council like to proceed with new business item number 3?
I move we authorize the city administrator to execute the form canceling the current bulk water contract with KWO. Second.
Motion Morrow, second Freeman, that we authorize the city administrator to execute the form canceling the contract between Kansas Water Office and the city. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. That concludes new business for the evening. Staff, anything for council? Store? Council, anything for staff?
I've got one question, just for Jim. Back in December, after the tragic shooting in Sandy Hook, we had a constituent come forward and ask, and we asked afterwards, and I know you weren't able to make the last meeting, but I was just wondering if you could give us an update on where we stand as far as the police department and the school officials and safety of the kids that are going to this.
Okay, I do believe beginning this week, the officers, the SROs are actually going around each school with each building administrator to try and do it like an overview, safety overview of that building itself, since that administrator is more familiar with it. I personally met with Dr. Gilhouse last week to kind of go over that strategy of getting the SROs involved in that portion of it, and then in talking with him, and I think it was in the last Friday night's memo, January 31st, it started off with Chief Douglas from Overland Park, Sheriff Denning, and then Chief Mickey from Olathe, forming a coalition of all law enforcement administrators and school administrators throughout Johnson County. Kind of sit down at the same table and say, okay, look, what have we been doing? Can we do anything better? Is there something we need to be doing different? So everybody's pretty much getting on the same page, working toward the same common goal. So we are working together. Everything is moving forward, and hopefully this coalition we've got started with the between the schools and the law enforcement, we'll help bring some things to light to maybe we can make things better for us.